space, right? Oops. We need to put a space right here, and then we can say ID of user or ID of client or anything, right? We can use arrow keys to switch to different cells. So number 1, we have number 2, we have number 3, 4, 5. You get the drill. We can also go downwards. You can use tab and enter as well. So tab will move it to the right, and enter will just move it downwards. Enter will move it downwards from the start, so that sometimes isn't the most useful thing to use, but it's kind of useful when you figure out how to do it. So we have multiple sheets down here. So we have sheet 1, we can add sheets, right? And then we can like have multiple sheets. So suppose I had too many sheets, I can go on one and then I can press I think it's Control Delete, Command Delete, I forgot. You can right click it and then there will be a button just saying delete. And here in sheet 1, suppose I want to rename this, I can simply just double tap that right there, right on the name. So right where it says sheet 1, all I need to do is I need to double tap, and as soon as I double tap, it will highlight it. I can't really make that bigger, but I hope you can see that. Oh, my name is over it. So as you can see, there's some green highlighted thing down here. I can double tap it and then I can write the name. So hold on. So in the name I can just write suppose this is orders. This is the main data set. This is where everything will happen. So this is where the users are. No, that's not what it would be. This will be the spot with all of the rents. Alright, so we can call this rents. Right, so suppose we have a 7-floor building. So we have a pretty big building. And each on the 7th floor, there are 3 apartments. And each of those apartments, we have to calculate the rent, right? So for the rents, we also need tenants. So we'll need about 21 tenants. So we can click on there, and all we need to do, oops, full screen. And then I will zoom in to this one as well, right? And I will call this one, double tap it right there, and then call this tenants, right? So in rents, we will just have the tenant name, the tenant floor, and building. So the way we'll do it is we will use A, B, and C for the flat number or the apartment number, and we will do so B as in center, A as in left, and then C as in right. So what we'll do is we will just say tenant at 7A needs to pay 9,000. So based on different floors, we will add different rents, just so we can see. I can show you some of the features. So first, let's add our headings. That's what they're called. So usually we always add headings. Headings are the things that we use to add some sort of label, as this is what this column means, this is what the next column means, this is what that column, and so on and so forth. So once we click it, right now there isn't any data, so we can just click it. And first we can say this is the name of, this is the tenant name, right, as we can see. So now what will happen is the tenant name is actually going out of the cell it's supposed to be in. What I'm trying to do is I need to make this cell bigger. So the way I would do that is I will just click this, and then I will make the thing bigger just by dragging it to my desired width. So that, right? And then we have tenant name, and then we have tenants apartment number, right? So tenant apartment number. Yep, so that's a little bigger than that, right? And then C will be, so we have the tenant name, the tenant apartment number. We will also need to add the tenant's tenant email, right? So after this, we're just going to come up with a bunch of names inside the tenants, and we will also add emails for each of them, right? And as for D, we will add the rent, and for D, we will add rent, and for E, we will add maintenance. And then we will add bills, right? So this is where the bills start, so the water bill, so we will just write usage of electricity, right? And this will just be some arbitrary number that we will allocate. Or instead, let's just add usage of water. Makes more sense, right? And usage of water. And we will also add amounts, so AMT dot due after all, so amount due with all payments, right? So we have that's what we're going to be doing. So we have the name, the number, the email, the rent, the maintenance, the usage of water. That's just the best thing I could think of. And let's say the usage of water, we have a variable set for the amounts of water we can use. And one of those variables, right? Well, the amounts of water a single person, like per, let's say, per liter is 50 cents, alright? Suppose we have 50 cents per gallon, right? I don't think that's too accurate, but we're not aiming for accuracy, we're just aiming at showing how you can make something in Excel, right? So here we can add every single tenant in this list. So we will need about 21, which means we will have 2 columns, right? Lower the zoom a little so everything is visible. We need 3 columns here. Rent, so we need tenant's name. And you can also just double tap this to fit it to the nearest column. If I go here, suppose like this rent, I can just double tap all of these to make them fit. So I think it's called it's called auto fitting, right? So it will just automatically fit everything with a small amount of gapping. So everything just fits perfectly. Tenant name, and then amount due after payments, usage of water. So just double tap that. So tenant name, and then we have tenant apartment number as in just unit. Unit number. Double tap to give it some gap. And we need the email. So tenant email. So this is where we'll kind of get into references a little bit. So the name, let's just use a random name generator. So I'm gonna come here and I will just search up random name generator. And we will be able to just do this. And then I will say I need 21 names, real names from anywhere, and then generate random names, right? And we have all of these names. So what I will do is I will press F3, and I will drag these 3 right there, and I can come here, and we have all of the names and where we need to add them. So I will just add the names first. So let's go Claudette McClure, if I spelled that right. Mel Pearson, Justine Tanner, Betsy Fitzpatrick, Andrew Mooney, Mindy Blankenship, and then we have Merle Weeks, and then we have Alden Howard, and then we have Patsy Kramer. And as for email, I'm just going to do first name dot last name at someservice.com. Patsy Kramer, Hayden Hobbs,
when you live in a Pulte home, you live in an innovative home
Doreen,
that's built for you. And a home that's built for you
James,
has plenty of storage and clean water filtration. A dedicated home office that has enhanced Wi-Fi.
And then we
A
have
spa bathroom where you can
Keith,
get time to yourself. And spaces built for entertaining friends.
Keith,
Homes, more life built in.
McIntosh, and then we have Angel Glover, and then we have Emil Bowen. I don't know how to say that name. Angela Nelson, Edna Ramos, and then we have Eusebio Williamson, Alyssa Ware, Booker Tucker,
Priceline has millions of deals on hotels, flights, and rental cars.
Nikki
So you can take your dream vacation at
Villa,
your dream
and Gay Castillo.
Dream price.
And here I can still double tap this so it auto fit, so that all of the names can fit inside. And I also haven't shown how you can just change the fonts as well, so I can make this bigger by selecting that and then coming to the fonts, and I can change it to be bigger or smaller based on personal preference. So we could make it like bigger or smaller just for personal preference to make it like easier to view, right? And right now, the next thing I'm going to show you might be a little harder because it gets into like the basics of sorting. Right now, for now, we can remove tenant email because we don't really need it right now. Right, and then here we will come here and then say 1A, 1B, 1C. Right, we'll just make sure each of these is capital. 1A, 1B, 1C. And then don't worry about this right now. We will worry about that. We will worry about formatting later. 2B, 2C, and then 3A, 3B, 3C, and then 4A, 4B, 4C. Let's see if Excel will be able to comprehend what I'm doing and fill it out for these three. Nope, it will. So 4A, 4B, 4B, 4C, and then 5A, 5B, 5C, 6A, 6B, 6C, and then 7A and 7B and 7C. Alright, so we have the 7 floors down. So as we can see, everything is just not formatted at all. And what we can do here is we can say, doesn't really matter for us. We can randomize these. It's just going to like switch it up. It's not really useful right now, so I will show us how to randomize it later on. So we can randomize each of those. Unit number, right? So we have that down, and basically what we will be doing is we will write the emails, right? So emails. And we will do rents. For rents, we can also just write the rents, and I will not shuffle those because we need rents based on the floors. Right, so on lower floors, the rent is lower. On higher floors, the rent is higher. So on the lower floors, since there is like lower climbing, it's easier to go down. We will do lower rents, higher rents, and then based on however high it is, can do lower rents. And we can add, so we could say our building has some elevators. We could do as many things as we want. We can make our building as much customized towards our preference, right? So right now what I'm going to do is inside of emails, I'm going to add Claudette. Actually, you know what? We don't really need the emails. We just need to add rents, right? So for the first one, we're going to go by dollar. So we will keep going up. Or we could just do the exact same rent for all of them, because suppose just we have an elevator and everyone just has to pay maintenance for the elevator, right? So rents, we will just say for each of them, since suppose this is our hotel, right? We will do I don't know, like a lot of rents, but we can write dollar signs. So dollar signs will just signify that this is currency. We'll do 900 for each, right? So we can just click there and then hold down and then press it all the way down here. So all of them is 900. So let me show you how I did that again. So the way you do that is, it's not that visible, but there will be this small box down here at that corner. And when you hover over the box, the cursor will go from a white cross to a black cross. So you're going to basically hold the cross down, hold it to when the cross is black, hold it down, and then there will be some text over here that just says drag outside to extend series or fill, drag inside to clear, right? We will just keep dragging this all the way down to the last person, and we have $900 for each of them, right? And we can also just write phone numbers. So this is a good spot that I can show how to use the randomizing feature. Randomizing will get us into sorting, even though that is not the easiest thing to do. I will still be showing it, just because it's fun. It's a phone numbers. I will add a +1, and then we will do 708, 708, 903, 2024, right? Control Z. Alright, so it just thought that that was a formula. It's not actually a formula, so let's just write it again. 708 909 1983. Right? And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this downward so that everyone, so I've just used the black box again, and I'm just going to copy it so that everyone has the same number, but I will just go in and change this. So this is 773 941 4464, and these are random phone numbers. 872 814 6, 7, 5, 3, 3, 1, 2, 7, 4, 7, 1, 2, 8, 9. Alright, 708, 312, 60, 70. 872, 912, 5252, 312. Yeah, so we can keep and then 857, 1989, 19. Oh, it kind of did change each of them. So there's 1990, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. So we kind of changed the last three numbers. So we could say 1999. Right, we could do 7812 again. Could do 087 is kind of a repeating loop, so we could change that. It's not letting me double select. 70812 312 1991. 814 068 3121. 708 663 1921. And I will just change these now. Come on, man, just let me select. One 773 087 067 1694. So we can't really do that. But we can do something like 812 897 1795, right? And then we'll say 708. For the rest, I'm just going to do 708. I will just change these middle numbers. 452. 996, 350. Alright. So we have some 21 phone numbers that took me a while to write. Now we will just add a column, and we'll call this helper. And what we will do is we will add rand. So rand is just saying add a random number here. Right? And we'll click this box, drag it all the way down, so we have a bunch of random numbers. And we have all of these phone numbers that actually do not mean anything. We will select all of these by first clicking the first phone number, so 708 087 1983. We'll click it, And we will hold shift and then click on the second, very last row on the last, this second column. So we have that. We can also start at phone numbers. We will do that. And it will give us some averages, we will give us some sums, and we'll do that. But we can go to data, and we can press on sort, right? And there will be some options here. And we can say sort by. We could add, there are some columns here. It says my list has headers or my list doesn't have headers. So you can click my list has headers since we selected the headers. And it asks us for the column. We will go into the helper column, and then we will do smallest to largest, sort on values, and then sort it by smallest to largest. That is completely up to you. This part is completely up to you. And you can press OK, and everyone now has a random phone number, right? So it's completely random. So each of them now have a random phone number. Now we just need to delete the helper column. So all you need to do is press E and then hit delete. So everyone has a specific rent, and everyone has a phone number. And let's say for each of these people, the rent is different because some of them has been staying there for longer. Right? So what I will do is we will randomize this again. So the way we randomize this one, first I will click on D, so just press D, and then you have to move your mouse to the left to the point that the cursor turns into the grabby hand. That's what I like to call it. And we can move this to E. So I will take this from D, and I will move it to E, so that we have the D column as the helper column. So we will just use the helper column for right now, and I will just keep giving each of these guys some random rents. So first I'm going to say 90, 930. So let's just say each year it goes up by 30. So we have 960. We have, and so it starts at, suppose, 800, and each year it goes up by 30. So this guy is 890, and this one is, 860. This is 1,000. So 990, 1,000, and 1020, so 1,020. And we have, so we can just keep saying 930, 960, 990, and then 1050, 1050, and I will remove the rest of these 900s, right? So you can just remove that. And do you know why I remove it? You might be asking, why did I remove it? What we will do now is we will select the first rent, go all the way down to column number 10, click on that little box again, so when your crosshair turns black, and then take it all the way down. It will kind of change the values to the point where they're a little goofy. And so what we're going to do is there will be this little box, autofill options. We'll say copy, we're just going to copy the cells, right? So it'll just create copies of those cells, so it kind of loops. And in the helper, what we're going to do is we will write rand again, equals to rand. And we will add parenthesis so that it makes a random number. Click here, drag the cross all the way down, click this, click here, go into data, press sort, and then sort by column Oops. Sorry, cancel. Now we need to, oops, again, problems. Click on this like this now. Now we press sort. And then my list has headers. Column will be helper. Smallest to largest. Hit OK. Now that everything is sorted based on this little helper column, press D, click on D, press delete. Now click on E, move your mouse to the point where your mouse is a grabby hand, and then swap it with D. Now we have the perfect tenants list. Now time to add rents. So when we're adding rents, all we're basically doing is we're trying to turn this entire list into a way of storing all of this data in like a singular column. What am I saying? We're trying to add all of the tenant names into one of these rows. So in the tenant email area, I'll just add phone no dot, so as in phone number, and then double tap this so everything is just auto fitted. Everything is nice and snug in its own column. We will press this first row, tenant name, and this one will just try to keep everything sorted because we're not trying to like go over each of these, right? So what we're trying to do is basically turn this entire thing into a kind of so tenant name, apartment number, then the phone number, then the rent, then the maintenance, the usage of water. The rent we will just copy. We will copy from there. Maintenance will be the same amount as we will just do $50 for each, right? And we can go up based on where they are, right? So the color key. No, I'm sorry, not color key. What we're basically trying to do is, yeah, that's all we're basically doing. We need to take this part of the thing, and we need to go all the way up to 22 columns, right? So what we'll do first for name 1, all we need to do is write equals, so this is called referencing. We'll press equals, turn off caps lock, go into tenants, and then press the name of the tenant. So for tenant number 1 is Claudette McClure. Click on it once and then press enter. So we have Claudette McClure. Double tap this so that it kind of fits everything. And then apartment number, you will click on there, press equals, go to tenants, and then you will click 1A, which is Claudette McClure's apartment number. Press enter. Phone number, also we'll do write an equal sign. Go into tenants, and then click on this person's phone number. Hit enter. For rent, we will press equals again. Go into tenants, and we will write. Click on the rent. Hit enter. For maintenance, we will do $50. Click this to this little box and go all the way to 22 columns. 20, so around 21 and then 22. And this is just copying cells. You can fill, I think flash fill we can do. Oops, nope. We need to fill series. So each of them will increase in maintenance because they will be using more services based on however higher they are on the building, right? We can randomize the maintenance costs if we wanted to, but that's fine. And then we have usage of water. Let's just say this guy is using, so this is, suppose he uses so this is per month, right? So suppose this guy, I'm just doing some basics, so we'll do 9,000 and then write gal, see if it formats, no. So we need to just write 9,000 gallons. Nope, it still doesn't fill it correctly. 9,000. Alright, so we can just do that. Right? And then we will do amount due with all payments. I will show us how to fill that one out later. It's actually really easy. All we have to do is add all of these 3 fields and press it right in there. So, we will just have to keep going until the last one. So, tenants equals tenants null, hit enter. I will actually just speed through this part. Phone number equals to tenants number 2, hit enter. Oops. Equals to tenants and then the second phone number. And then rent equals to rent tenants 900, hit enter. And then usage of water. Let's say this guy is a person that lives alone, right? Well, let's just suppose that he lives alone. And we will say he used about 7,000 gallons, right? Right, and then we will say amount due with all of the payments, right? So amount due with all of the payments, all we will do is we will say the usage of water times 0.50 and plus the rent. So we'll say the rent, so we'll say equals to a sum, right? Sum of that, and then hit comma. Number 2, hit that, and for usage of water, we will do that times 0.05. Let's say 5 cents per gallon. All right. I'm just trying to not make this value inhumane, and I'm still trying to make this affordable, right? So with all of that, the guy will be paying a total of $14.60. So 1,460, and we can format this so that it's $1. So we can click this, and then we will say, not filter, but data. We will try to format this by right-click it, and we will have pay special format cells. Click it, and there will be a dialog that pops up. Instead of general, this will be a currency, and number of 2 decimal places. Hit the $, and then hit OK. And maintenance, we will also format all of these cells. So I will click all of these. So all of these. Hit right click. And then we will make this also dollars, so we can format. Format. Where is format? And we will set this to currency. And you can also change some other things like alignment. There's this degrees field that you can change everything. There's fonts, there's borders for the cells so that it's like different for each. You can fill these with different background colors. And you can also add protections like hide formulas and protect the worksheet, like encryption things. So we will press OK here. And just to copy the formula, you'll press the black dot, like that. I will copy this, that each guy uses some similar amount of water. So it's kind of trying to do this thing, this exact formula, but a little different. So let's Command Z, and let's put 7,000 on top, and put 9,000 on the bottom. So instead of subtracting, it adds. so the thing doesn't become janky. So we have 9,000, then we have 11,000, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25, 27, 29, 31. So we're going to try to now make this random for each person. So we will just add rand again. Alright, so here we'll write helper, type equals to rand fat, take the crosshair all the way down, and then usage of water, drag it all the way there, hit right click, and then we will sort smallest to largest. Oops, Command Z. We'll click, sorting dialog, and then column will be helper, and then we'll do smallest to largest, press OK. So each of these will just be using a random amount of water. Delete the helper column, press H, make sure it's a hand, and then drag it to G. Now we have everything done. So now each of these will just be using some random amounts of water, and it doesn't look so it's kind of random for each person. Again, some of these are like a lot. I don't think this is that high, but I don't know either. So yeah, let's just continue. For this, I hope we can just do this. Yeah. So that's all of the tenant names. This will just give us all of the tenants' apartment numbers, and they're also going to be formulas, so that's good. All of the tenant phone numbers, all of the rents. For Nicky Villa, there's something wrong with the 21st column for him. It's 1,020. Tenants C21. What is wrong with this? Right click. So we will have to. Oh, it's not just that. Just double tap. Yeah. So the problem was the column wasn't big enough to add those other values because they are in the thousands. And all we need to do now is to finish all of this. Just add amounts with all payments like that, like so. So now we have every single person with their specific names and the amounts that they're supposed to give us in dollars. So we have some people paying us up to like $3,000, and we also go as low as. So now what we can do now is we can say click here, click there, hit right click, and we can sort it based on the lowest column. So let's press sort, amount due with all payments, and smallest to largest. So we'll see who has the smallest and who has the largest. So as we can see, Merle Winkles used the lowest water, has to pay not that high of maintenance, but has one of the highest rents, and she ends up paying the least, while there's someone that has to pay the same amount of rent as Merle Weeks, has one of the highest maintenance costs, used the most water, and has to pay about $3,462, since we pay all of the bills, right? So that's how much he has to do. That's how much he has due to us, and yeah, that's about it. So I hoped everyone loved today's video. I really want everyone to join me again next Sunday. Next Sunday we will be going into some more advanced things, like some graphs and some other functions that we haven't gone over today. And a quick other thing I can show you that I wanted to show you, but I couldn't right now. So in here, amounts of all payments. Suppose we're just going to make one singular column that just says average. So in another one, we can say new sheets, Oops, that's not making a new sheet. Yes, sheet 4. And then I'm just gonna write core or something. So some variables. I will control zoom in so that everything is kind of visible. And here what I will do is I will say average of all rents. Hit enter. Double tap. Take this, and what we will do here is I will go into the rents. I will say variables. Hit average. Parenthesis. Equals to. Why does this keep popping up every 5 seconds? And we'll say rents. We'll click on this first one and click on this last one. We'll take this average. Right. Oops. Forgot how you can use this as. You can just copy the average. Is it copied? No, it's not copied. So, oh wait, I think it did copy it. Yeah. So I can just click it and then it'll just be copied. So I can go into tenants. Nope, I can go into variables. And then we can write average of all the rents. Paste it right there. It's just the columns. It's not like a function, so we can rewrite it as a function by writing the equal sign, writing average. So there's some formatting error here. We can hit delete. Now click here, average. So we need to say equals to AVG. Oh wait, no, it's average. Average of not A3, but we will click on rents, hit that, hit enter. So now we have an actual formula of all rents. So out of all of the rents, how much is the average? And then we can say sum of water usage. So what I said, I think I wrote 3 cents per gallon. So I can go into rents. I don't even remember. It's 5 cents per gallon, which I think it's reasonable. So basically all we're trying to do, go into variables. So basically all we're trying to do here is we're trying to get a sum. So for summation, there's actually another function, equals to sum, parenthesis, rents, click, click, enter. So we used 49,000, oops, oh, I think I copied the wrong one. Oops, wrong field. Hit equals to sum, parenthesis, hit the rent, and we will say click usage of water, hit enter. So we have all of the water usage, so the amount of water everyone used, and we can say average maintain, and I think I have a typo somewhere. Average maintenance, click here, hit equals to average, darn it, double tap, instead of C3 we will rents, and this is average of what? The maintenance, so how much is everyone paying on average for maintenance? Hit enter. So everyone pays about 60 bucks on average for maintenance. So that is just some more features inside of Excel that we can use to our advantage for some calculations and things. So I hope everyone enjoyed this video. And yeah. See you guys next Sunday.